keep up to date with our latest videos, please hit the subscribe button below. Hello there, welcome to this video from racingbetdata.com. Today we're going to be looking at rating, how you can create your own rating system using the data from our website. So I've navigated to the pre-race download file. This would be the best download to use because it gives you the entire history of each horse running that day, and previous days' files can be exported from the right hand side dating back to August 2020. So you've got the full race history of each horse, and there's also additional detail in this file that you don't get from the dashboard. So this would probably be the most in-depth method of starting your formula for your rating system. Now, a rating system can be quite subjective. It's up to you entirely what factors and features you include within the calculation to get a rating, and it's also up to you how you weight those as well, so the importance of each of those features. So what I'm going to take you through in this example video is how you can use the data to create your rating system. As I said, it's subjective, so I'm not going to be saying this is the finite way you can create an all singing, all dancing, profitable rating system. It's to generate ideas and show you how, using formula and the output tools, you can start developing a rating system. So navigate to the download file, and I'll click the export to generate that file. And here you can see the output file is presented in Excel with the separate tracks down the bottom, and then the combined tab with all races for the day and every horse's history within this file. So what I'm going to do is click the filter option from the top menu, and then we're going to filter by date. Now, depending on what version of Excel you've got, this might appear slightly different, and because we're looking at today's data, I can click today, and that simply hides all the history for each horse, as that's not actually relevant for what we're going to do, because a lot of it has been summarized in the columns that we already have in this file. Now, you may have noticed already that we do provide a racing bet data rating, as you can see in column AQ. Now, a couple of these are showing as NA. Now, the reason those are showing as NA are these horses are reserves, so they've not officially been declared to race, and one of the factors in that is the tissue price. So where you can see the predicted SP, industry SP, that won't be calculated or provided for reserve horses. So what that means is that the RBD rating is therefore not applicable for those horses. That is one of the factors we use in the calculation for the RBD rating. So just to touch upon that before we move any further on with regards to how you can create your own. We have set this rating system up, and again, as I said, it's subjective, so it's our version of how we can potentially rate a horse, and we're not going to give the full formula away, but it does use factors such as the wins in the last 5 races, whether a horse has won at course and distance, its predicted starting price is one of the factors, and that's the basis that we use to create that rating. We've also had some inquiries from users as to whether we can incorporate that RBD rating in other areas of the website, and the simple quick answer is no, unfortunately. We could embed that within the results and odds file, so we've had a few requests from members to see if we can add it in here. Now, the issue we have here is that we've already added several columns to this file since its incarnation at the beginning of August last year, 2020, and we've logged these through the change log. And the problem that causes if we're continually adding additional columns is anybody using that for back testing or system creation or day-to-day monitoring, it's going to skew the columns. We're going to be adding columns, and it's going to be shifting reference cells to different areas of the sheet, given inconsistencies. So as I said, it is a bit of a conflicting issue, and we've promised that we would not add any additional columns to that file unless it was deemed absolutely critical. So we could add the RBD rating to that, but we're at this moment in time we're not going to. And what we've said to users is that you can use an amalgamation of the two. So you can download the two files and use a unique hook such as the date or the race course or the name of the horse, and you can link the two files together. And any members that are not confident doing that, we encourage them to contact us, and we'd happily take a look and advise how to do it. In terms of adding the RBD rating into the data dashboard, at this moment in time, that is not possible either. And I've touched on the reason why. We have all of this history within Excel, which allows us to quickly calculate that in the morning. And that runs as an automatic calculation. To do that on the data dashboard, what we're in effect doing is every time you or anybody runs a report using that dashboard, it's a web query and it's calculating and the output to calculate all the facets and factors that we do into the RBD rating, and to get those published on screen when you're calling up your output, which could be tens of thousands of rows of data, it would have a drastic impact on the speed and not in a positive way. So at this moment in time, we're not going to be adding that RBD rating into the data dashboard, but it is on our list as we move forward and things progress. We will see if it's possible to add that in. Anyway, I've digressed from what the purpose of the video is, and that is to show you how you can create your own rating system. So what you want to do is go along here and see which factors and fields you think are important towards a rating system. So things like age of the horse, that could be important. You could be thinking that, you know, the younger the horse is, around a 3 or 4 year old, it's got more stamina potentially than an older horse, but then the older horse has that experience. So it could be argued one of two ways. But what I'm going to do is use age, and I'm just going to take these filters off for the moment and just explain why I'm doing that. So you can see here with this little green triangle that appears, that means that the data is stored as a text field. Now to use age or any other field that's stored that way in a calculation, you need to convert it to a number. So you simply click on the top cell, this little exclamation mark will pop up. I've selected all the cells in that range, and I'm going to convert to a number just by clicking that option there. And that should take a few seconds to run through and calculate. I'm going to hide that now that's done. So highlight that, sorry. So we're going to use age. We're also going to use pace, which is already stored as a number. And we're going to use weight, but we need to do some calculation on the weight because that is stored as stones and pounds. And we want to convert that to pounds. Just have a flick through here if there's anything else that we want to use. As I said, it can be totally subjective, so it's down to your own consideration of what you deem to be an important factor. You could use things like the days since the last race. So how much, if a horse has raced yesterday, is it at more of an advantage or disadvantage to one that hasn't raced in the last 30 days, for instance? So again, you can use the days since the last race column. I'm going to use whether it's a course or distance winner, and also the official rating. So those are the factors that I'm going to use in this example to show you how you can start using creating a rating system. So what I'm going to do here is rank the horses by age. I'm going to put age rank, and we're going to use an old favorite, which is count ifs. Actually, before I do that, I just need to refilter, just so I'm not doing everything in the database. I'm just going to select for today, back on that again, and then we can put our formula in. So I'm going to use count ifs and bring up the formula function argument box. So we're looking for anything that's run in column A, running same day, same track, which is York, and the same time, 2:10. Then what we're going to do is say the age column we're going to say anything that's greater than 4 years old. And then we're going to add, actually we're not going to do that. Let's just see how that pans out. Just going to drag this all the way down to the bottom. Maybe that I've just got that formula slightly wrong. I need to use, depending which way I want to look at it, I may need to use less than rather than greater than. Let's filter by 210 so we can just look at this one race. And the horse in question is 4 years old, and having a quick look through, it's the joint youngest in the race. So what we're saying there is we're applying 16 points to that horse, whereas the horse down here, Mr. Lupton, is the oldest at 8 years old, and we're applying no points to him. And as I said, you can scale the points accordingly. It doesn't have to be done on ranking, but this is how I'm going to do it for the purpose of the video. We could drag this video out and it could last for hours otherwise. So I just want to show you how you can start generating ideas. Pace rating. So we can use the pace rating already because that is low to high. So the lower the rating, the slower the horse's pace is deemed to be, or it hasn't got any history. So if you've got a 0 in there, it's got no history. Let's use pace rating, and that is assigning points based on that horse's pace. And we've covered pace in a couple of other videos as well. Now we're going to use the horse's weight, but before we do it, we need to calculate its stones and pounds to then be able to rank it. So I've got the formula here that we need, and that can be pasted in. And this calculates the stones, this calculates the pounds, and then what we can do is give it a total weight in pounds, which is the stones times 14 plus the residual pounds, and that gives the total weight of the horse, or the weight that the horse is carrying. And what we're going to assume is that the lighter the weight, the more points we're going to assign to that horse in that race. So here comes the weight ranking, and what we want to say is count ifs, and we want to use make sure we're using the same as we did before. So we want to say the same date, same track, and this obviously gets dragged all the way down. Same time, and then the weight where it's greater than and that's showing that there's only one horse in that race with a higher carrying a larger weight than this top one. So again, what we're going to do is have a look by time, and it might be that there are, depending on the race type, you might have all jockeys carrying the same weight. You might have all horses of the same age, so it might be in some races that there is no a distinct advantage by weight or age. But let's have a look at the 210 again, which being the top race. So here we go. So what we're saying is we're assigning a weight point of 1 to these two horses on rows 27 and 2910, and that is because they're carrying 9 stone 4, which is the heaviest in the race. And then we've got 16 points being assigned to these two horses because they're carrying 8 stone 2, so the least, so over a stone or 16 pounds less than the other two horses that we're assigning the lower points rating to. So Again, that's subjective, but that's one of the options. So we've added in now age, pace, and weight, and we've calculated a rating for each of those. Now what we want to say is it a course winner? Is it a distance winner? So let me just take the filter off the times. Because we've got some calculations in there, it just takes a second. So course rating. So we're going to say if the horse has won at this course equals yes, let's assign it 5 points. If it hasn't, 0. And we can copy that all the way down. And you could put, 3 points, 5 points, 7 points, 10 points. Depends how important you judge a horse that's won at that course before. And let's do the same for distance. We should be able to just drag that across because it's referenced in the column next to it. So if it's won at this distance as well, we're assigning 5 points. And again, drag this all the way down. And let's then look at the official ranking rating. And what we could say here is anything that's appearing in the top 3 of that race, we can assign some points to. So let's have a look. So let's do count ifs. And the range for the date, the track, and the time. And then the official rating. So we're going to say greater than that horse, and let's put in a +1, because if that horse is the top rating, it was going to show 0. It's not going to say any horses in the race are of a higher rating, so we need to add that 1 in. And that's given us a rank. I'll just change that header when I get back to the top. So that will rank each horse in the race based on its official rating. And again, you might get quite a lot of tied horses. Official rank. And then what we can say is if that equals 3, we can award it 3 points. If this equals 2, then we can award it 5 points. If equals 1, then let's award it 10 points. And if none of those, then we award it 0 points. Let's just make sure I've got this formula correct. Looks like I have. And again, we can drag this all the way down. And then it's a case of summing up these columns to give us our final score, if you like. Just check through, see if there's anything out. Let's put in an additional one since days since. So let's say if the days since the last run is over 30, so over a month since its last run, we're going to award it 5 points. And you could argue the opposite. You could say anything that's run more recently, so it has run within the last 30 days or however many days, you can award the points. But in this instance, we're going to assume that anything that's not run for that length of time has been well rested. We've got previous races, so how many times the horses run, how many wins in the last 5. So let's actually add another one in. Wins last 5. Put 5. And then we can do a simple sum on this one. So we can say however many times it's won in the last 5, let's give it 3 points. So if it's won 3 times, it'll be getting 9 points. And let's drag these all the way to the bottom. So that's calculated now. And now what we can do is give a total. So this is our total points. And we just need to do a sum. So we're going to do the age plus the pace plus the weight, plus whether it's won at the course, whether it's won at the distance, its official rating, whether it's ranked in the top 3, and the days, so how frequently or how rested the horse is, plus the wins in the last 5, and that will give you a total score. And if we drag that all the way down, you then have a full rating system. So we can filter and look at any of the races that you want, really. So let's have a look at the first race at York that's happening. We've just heard that Newton Abbott's been postponed due to the weather, or the track conditions from the weather overnight. So the first race at York, the 140, we'll just bring that one up and have a look. Now, it is worth saying that, you know, the data is freely available. You can get this data from various different sources and means on the internet, and most of it free of charge. What we do is bring this to you in one file in a convenient, easy format, which saves time. So there is obviously a cost, albeit an annual membership is very affordable, and we make it so it is. We don't want to price people out. So it isn't affordable, and a lot of our members say we could charge an awful lot more, but we're not here to rip people off. We want to make it affordable, but understand that, you know, some people can and do want to attain this data elsewhere. It will take you a lot of time. If you've got time in your hands, then that is obviously an option. But bringing this all together for you in this one file, and the results file and the dashboard, save an awful lot of time, and the majority of people see that as money well spent. So going back to this race, it's the 140 at York. So we're going to highlight the 2 highest in the race, and they appear to be joint on a total of 39. So that's from our rating system, and those horses are, so Il Arab and Winner Clock are the 2 horses that are selected from that. And as you can see from gazing down the weights, they're pretty much the 2 top weights in the field. The predicted odds and predicted favoritism at this morning is that Il Arab is predicted to be at odds of 5.5 and second favourite, and Winner Clock predicted to be at odds of 15. That's industry odds of 15, and the 9th favourite. So, you know, as I said, this system isn't going to create you a long-term profitable, well, I'll be amazed if it does, just by putting in these random scores. But a lot of people do use ratings as the way of handicapping races and looking for value. So it does have its place, and we hope that this video can help generate some ideas for you.